Hi, it's Michael Dermer, and in this lesson we're going to be talking about something that plagues lots of entrepreneurs, which is how to protect your idea, right? You've got this crazy idea that you really think could be groundbreaking, so how do you go about protecting it? So as an entrepreneur, how do you actually protect your idea? You know, you've come up with something that you believe is unique, that can really change things, right? Or it might be something small, but it really is your unique spin on something. So how do you go about protecting that idea from being stolen or taken by somebody else? Okay? First, what I would tell you is this is more art than science. There is no absolute guarantees about ways to protect your idea. But here are a couple of tools and techniques that you can use at different steps along the way. First of all, when you first meet somebody, avoid telling them too much, right? A lot of times when somebody is first digesting what you're doing, you can tell them enough so they can grasp your business, right, without giving them your special sauce, okay? So when you're first meeting people, avoid giving them too much. If they're interested, they'll ask for more, okay? Next is using non-disclosure agreements, right? There are agreements out there that essentially protect the confidentiality of your idea as well as confidential information the person you're talking to might give to you. So while you might be avoiding revealing too much about your idea, when you're ready to, you can say to another party, hey, I think we should sign a non-disclosure agreement. Now, if you're dealing with reputable people, for the most part, they should say, of course, no problem. No different than if they asked you to sign a non-disclosure agreement about whatever information they're providing to you, okay? Sometimes investors will never sign non-disclosure agreements, but for the most part, when you're talking to people and once you give them enough that now you're going to go into your special sauce, get them to sign non-disclosure agreements. Next is, sometimes you can take advantage of intellectual property rights. So intellectual property rights mean things like filing for trademarks, filing for patents, things that you can file with what's called the United States Patent and Trademark Office, okay? So let me give you some of the goods and bads of this, okay? It is much, much more difficult these days to actually get a patent or to get a trademark. With all the influx of new businesses throughout the world, to really get one of those things takes lots of time and effort. In addition, they're really hard to enforce. So imagine if you got a patent and you were trying to enforce it against a large company that has lots of lawyers and lots of money, okay? It's really, really hard to do, okay? That being said, it doesn't always mean that you shouldn't do it. Filing for a trademark, right, is actually quite easy by simply going to the US Patent and Trademark Office website and simply filing for a trademark right there. You might want to get a lawyer to help with you a little bit, but it's really a pretty clear form that allows you to apply for a trademark. Patents are much more complicated, right? So when you go to file a patent, it's most likely that you should get a lawyer to help you do that, okay? So even though they may be hard to enforce, especially when it comes to technology or groundbreaking processes, the types of things that you're going to ask investors to invest a lot of money in, it's worth the time to hire a lawyer and go and get yourself a patent. So those are some of the intellectual property ways that you can protect yourselves, but there's also some things that are just some basic common sense, okay? First of all is research the people that you're talking to, right? Imagine you going to somebody that you've never met before, right? Which is many times the case. And now you're going to tell them the launch codes or the trade secrets, right? What you want to do is really know the people that you're talking to. Talk to them, see if you have colleagues or people in your network that have done business before. It's not a guarantee, but boy, would it be good to have a little bit of information on the people you're talking to. Secondly is, and this may sound cliche, but trust your instincts, right? You'll get a sense for people when they say things like, I don't want to sign a non-disclosure agreement, or, well, there's nothing really confidential that you're asking me to look at here, or we look at lots of confidential ideas. That may all be true, but trust your gut, right? That doesn't mean, any of the things that I said doesn't mean that somebody's not trustworthy, but trust your gut instincts about the types of people that you're interacting with. The one thing I would caution you on is, remember, big companies are in the business to make money. So you always have to be a little bit cautious when you're going to large companies. And your default when it comes to large companies is, hey, let's get people to sign non-disclosure agreements, right? And let's protect ourselves a little bit. But either way, try to trust your gut in looking across the table at who you're looking at. And finally, and this sometimes can be your most important protection, document your interactions, right? Let's say, for example, you've sent 3, 4, 5 emails, right? And people have sent emails back, right? A really easy way to do that is just keep track of all those emails, keep them in a little bit folder, because that way, if somebody ever comes back later and you're claiming that they stole your idea, you'll kind of have a little bit of a record of your interactions back and forth about how you've talked to each other, okay? Again, if a large company really wants to take the time to steal your idea, they've probably got the capital and resources to do it, but I think that 9 out of 10 times that's not really the case, right? Whether you're talking to investors or talking to companies or talking to others. That being said, these techniques and a bunch of the other techniques that we've laid out for you in this lesson can really give you a better shot of protecting your idea.